If it seems sometimes there's no end to elections around here, it's because, well, there's no end to elections around here. Virginia is one of the few states that has elections every year. We just came through the presidential and congressional elections. We're headed toward the gubernatorial and legislative elections. But there will be an in-between election, actually perhaps three in-between elections. One of them could maybe perhaps tip the Virginia Senate from Democratic to Republican control. Two members of the Virginia Senate were elected to Congress this month, Republican John McGuire of Goochland County outside Richmond, and Suhas Subramaniam, a Democrat from the D.C. suburb of Loudoun County. McGuire will represent the very red 5th District. It extends from Charlottesville south to the Virginia and North Carolina line. Subramaniam will represent the very blue 10th District. It's carved from some of those bedroom communities in Northern Virginia. Because both guys are going to Washington, special elections will be held to fill their seats in Richmond. Only one's been scheduled so far, a January 7th election to pick Subramaniam's successor. It's getting a lot of attention because the congressional election didn't get much attention from Democratic voters, that is. This has Republicans believing they have a shot at flipping a Democratic seat. If they do, that would eliminate the Democrats' 21-19 edge in the Senate. The Senate would then be evenly split, 20 Democrats, 20 Republicans. But Republicans would have nominal control. That's because the Senate's presiding officer, its tiebreaker, is the Republican Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earl Sears. She's also a candidate for governor and looks to be unopposed for the party's 2025 nomination. With the Senate kinda, sorta in Republican hands and Democrats still controlling the House of Delegates, things could be very different at the state capitol, especially for Governor Glenn Youngkin. He's a Republican who's seen big chunks of his conservative agenda trashed by Democrats. A divided legislature might be more accommodating of Youngkin, and he could use a win or two in the 2025 legislative session. It'll be the last session of his non-renewable 4-year term as governor. It's when the legislature often pays little attention to a governor. 2025 is also the last full year of his term, which Youngkin apparently would like to think could propel him to a full-on national candidacy. Remember, he spent the first half of his term as an unofficial, undeclared candidate for president, but couldn't get past the immovable object that is Donald Trump. So Youngkin dutifully fell in line, embracing Trump for a second go as president. Never mind, he kept his distance from Trump during the 2021 gubernatorial election. For that Northern Virginia Senate seat, Democrats nominated a member of the House of Delegates. Republicans picked a parents' rights advocate. Democrats believe they'll win in January, when turnout is likely to be super low. But that means, in the view of Republicans and some Democrats, that anything could happen. Plus, the lower margins this year for victorious Democratic candidates in, for example, Loudoun County, suggest Democratic enthusiasm may be lagging. Republicans aren't worried about the McGuire Senate seat because the district is solid for the GOP. And no date yet on when that special election will be held. The timing will be driven by McGuire's resignation from the General Assembly. There are other factors jockeying for the Republican nomination. So far, there are 6 candidates, and how that nomination will be decided. But settling the McGuire and Subramaniam seats isn't necessarily the end of it. If Democrats hold that Northern Virginia seat, there will be another special election, this time for that vacancy in the House. Elections every year and a few in between. For the Richmond Times-Dispatch, this is Jeff Shapiro.